There we go. We kick off. So welcome everybody to this Saturday training. Welcome for everybody who's all around the globe. We're so excited to jump on here today, share some information. I have some absolutely incredible top-notch trainers from this space and industry, Mr. Larry Lane, Mr. Randy Schrader, here to share today. But just first of all, I want to thank you guys all, trusting in us, your leadership group. We have so many incredible, powerful leaders from this space all around the globe that have chosen to say yes and to join us. We have a couple of them on here today. Want to say thank you for your ownership group. We're definitely one of you guys, and that's what we love about what we're doing here. Is that our hearts in the field, our hearts in building, and so thank you guys so much for jumping on today. Thank you so much for joining us. We've had an absolutely incredible energetic power pack last, what was it, 42 hours, right? From the time that we said go. Literally thousands have said yes and joined, and we're definitely very grateful and humbled for you guys to say yes here. So just a little bit of housekeeping on some things that are going on. Our technology partners absolutely crushed this. We had a little bit of a glitch when we first turned it on with just hundreds and hundreds of people pouring in. They went back, got it fixed up, tested everything to make sure that wouldn't happen again, turn it on, and things have been running very well. Now, we just have had a couple things, so I'm just going to give you an update on those. If you've needed to request reset password, we've just been throttled by some of the email companies, right? If you can only imagine a company that goes from, sending a handful of emails to then thousands, for welcome emails, reset password emails, they just throttle us a little bit. It's just a matter of time. We're working really closely with, with Gmail and Google and some of the other carriers to get that fixed in a short period of time. The two-factor authentication, that will be continue to get simpler and simpler. We'll be implementing some things this next week. If you are getting an error code when you do your 2FA, just clear your cache on your computer or your mobile device, refresh it. You're good to go there. If you do need a support ticket, please do not send multiple tickets. We have a support team that's absolutely doing incredible. The best place to submit it is in your back office under support. Submit ticket to the top right. If you cannot access your back office for some reason, send it to support@nelolife.com and they'll definitely address it. Just please do not submit multiple tickets. On top of that, too, if you need a request, like we've had a couple of people that need password requests, you cannot submit something for someone in your group or your team. We can only give a password out to the actual person that emailed us in with the email that matches the file. So just a couple of those things right there from the standpoint of housekeeping. But things have gone incredibly well, considering that we said yes to this thing literally 3.5 weeks ago. We made our first announcement, and I can say that the team, the support team, our technology team, you guys, the field leadership, so many people have absolutely crushed this and done such amazing thing to get to the point where 3.5 weeks ago we said, hey, we have a goal and a vision to deliver something that is better, something that is individual field focus, but something that has a product line that is going to bring massive value to the people, backed up by a compensation that can really take you guys to the next level. And so we're humbled to be here on here today. We've had crazy times. I'm actually in the parking lot of a cheer competition. We were here cheering on my daughter in Austin. You guys have heard me tell the story of how I started to be a believer of our travel product because it saved us a ton of money here on this weekend. But I was leaving the hotel this morning, went to my bag, realized that I did not pack any shirts because they're sitting right next to my desk. That's how crazy this past handful of days have been. So I had to run to the store, grab a shirt, come back here. My wife says, don't you dare jump on with the same shirt you had on yesterday. So it's been a crazy time, but we're excited. We're having fun, having an absolute blast. And that's really what we're here and what we're about. And so I'm going to step out of the way, bring on our first trainer. And before I jump in, I'm going to introduce him, but I'm just going to share something. This compensation plan was 100% written for one thing, right? And it was written for team helping team community. We named it the global, unified bonus plan. What that means is that this is a way for for people to help people, for people to come together. Okay. And it's the goal from day one, from the intention when we said, hey, here's what we're going to do. It's been forward faced on every one of our minds, every person who contributed to the compensation plan. But it really hit me the other day. I was on with one of my mentors, and this is a man who is one of the most successful people in the history of this industry. He's built, one of the largest organizations. Financially, he's been blessed immensely. But what I love about him is just his wisdom. He actually worked for Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill, one of the most famous authors in history, is one of my favorite books of all time. he worked for him and learned basically all of his philosophies in life. So I've used this for what I've learned from him, Mr. Dell Williams, in every aspect of life, not just business, but being a better father, being a better friend, being a better business person. But he told me a quote that really just hit me home. He said, "Every good deed, okay, does not go unreturned." Okay. Meaning that you do something good, it comes back. And in my opinion, many times tenfold. And so this plan, yes, it is a community plan. Yes. Our goal is to create this to where it's team helping team, meaning that's you get benefit from. But the compensation plan is also written to benefit the people that help the most, people that give the most deeds, right? And so Larry Lane is going to go and talk about how you can bless the most people, because the people here that bless the most people, that deliver the most value, that actually create not only are waiting for spillover, but are spillover creators by driving this unified bonus, will be blessed immensely and will have many, many good deeds come back to them. So with that being said, I'm gonna get out of the way. Mr. Larry Lane, he's incredibly passionate. I have never worked with anyone who is more driven to share with more people, to help with more people. He's laser focused. It's one thing, and it is the tree, and it's helping people in the tree. It's getting people in the tree, and it's helping them have success. So Mr. Larry Lane, go ahead and take it away.
Hey, Nick, thank you so much. You can see my slides and everything okay?
Yep, you're good to go.
Perfect. Awesome. So
You
guys, I'm
tech,
going to get
you
right
tech
into it.
wizard, you, Mr. Larry. Look at you crushing it.
I got a new laptop, so pulling up slides is a big win for me. So I'm going to get right into it. I know we got Randy coming up next. So, this is our starter bonus. This is basically the basic part of it. When someone comes into the business and they come in for $79, you are going to get a $25 starter bonus. In this example, I sponsored Bob. Bob brought in Sue and John. So Bob would get the $25 for each of them. So Bob gets the starter bonus of $50. So we're going to go ahead to the next slide. This is basically our unification part, and we do go over this on our overviews, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth so you can really see the power of bringing in your personals and getting them unified. So in this example, again, I brought in Bob. I earned my $25 fast start, which you can see right here. And then I have 30 days. There's a 30-day clock right when Bob signs up that I can actually go out and get Bob unified. And what does that mean? That means in 30 days, I help Bob bring in his two personal people, and then those two would each bring in two. Now, as Bob's sponsor, when I do that, I earn the $75 unified bonus. So if I step up and help Bob as my personal, I'm going to get the $25 fast start. And then I'm also going to get that $75 unified bonus. You can do this over and over and over. Every time you bring in a personal, you're going to have that 30-day clock. And eventually you're going to be able to see it in the back office. So if you sign up 15 people that you personally bring in, you're going to have a day count beside them, how many days you have left to get them unified, which is very powerful. So over and over and over, you're going to help your personals. Oh, I went the wrong way. 1 second. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to break this down just a little bit more. Now, as you come in, when you come in and bring in Bob, this is going to be going probably in the next 30 to 60 days. We are going to be bringing in a customer requirement. So we're going to be bringing in customers. This is also going to be coming into play when our travel engine is fully functional over the next couple of weeks. We're going to have the life trips that are going to be in there as well. We're going to have the products that are going to be in the life store. So as you come in, I just helped Bob, I got Bob unified and earned that $75 unified bonus. But now look at what would happen if Bob just went out and brought in two personal customers. He would earn that 25 and 25. That would be his cab bonus, his customer acquisition bonus. On the second level, if those two each got two, he would earn an additional $9 times four. And then on that fourth level with the four people, if each of them just got two customers, that would be 8 times the 6. That would be $48. So Bob right here, with everybody getting two customers, just with these 6 people, he would earn $134, which is incredible. So now we're going to break down a little bit more on the unified bonus, because this is about you coming in. You're going to help your personal people. So in this scenario right here, I did it with Bob. I got Bob unified. So now we're going to watch what Bob does and how Bob is going to go help his two personal people. So now Bob has brought in John, and Bob has brought in Sue. Those are his two personal people. So when Bob did that, he earned a $25 starter bonus on John, and he earned a $25 starter bonus on Sue. So at that point, Sue and John, they started their 30-day clock, and Bob now has 30 days to get John and Sue unified. So, and you see in this scenario, John, he went and helped John get his two, and then those two each got two. So he earned a $75 unified bonus off of John. He also went over to Sue, and he helped Sue, who got her two, and then those two each got two. So he got Sue unified. That's his second personal. He got another $75 unified bonus. But look at the power here. Okay, John brought in his two. John earned $50, two starter bonuses. Sue brought in her two. She earned her $50, two starter bonuses. And now Sue and John are going to go help Mike and Sarah and Scott and Linda get unified. This is very, very powerful. The other thing I really want to focus on here, we have an incredible check match. So look at what just happened when I'm bringing in my personal people and I'm helping them get unified. So I'm at the top of the matrix. I brought in Bob. So forever, I get a 20% match on Bob for whatever he does in the matrix every single month. On the second tier, John and Sue, I now get a 10% match on John and Sue. Everything they do in the matrix. If it's $30, I would earn $3, but that really starts to add up. Now for Linda, Scott, Sarah, and Mike, that is my third tier. I get a 10% check match on every one of those four as well. Okay. Fourth tier, you can see the power. There's now 8 people under them. I get 8 check matches at 10%. It's very powerful when you're bringing in your own personal people. You're helping them get unified. So you're earning those $25 starter bonuses every week. You're earning those $75 starter bonuses every single week. Everybody's getting their personals unified. So everybody's earning that money. You're also building your matrix because remember, anybody under you in the matrix, whether it's spillover or you put them there or your team puts them there, you're earning between $1 and $1.47 for everybody in your community each and every month. So this unification bonus is absolutely what gets people to go help their personals get unified. It helps the entire community with the 2 people who are each getting 2 people. And again, you're going to have a clock there. So if you look up and you see that Mike only has 3 days left to get unified, you're going to go help Mike. Say, look, Mike, let's get a couple of people on the phone. Let's get your 2 who each get 2. We're going to get you unified. And what that does for Mike is Mike brought in his 2 people. So he's starting his check matches as well. This is a life-changing compensation plan. Absolutely. So now we're going to take it one step further. So now Sue over here on the left, okay, Sue is right here. So now Sue has gone out and Sue has talked with Linda and Scott. Those were her 2 personals. And Sue went out and now got them unified. They each got their 2 who got 2. So Sue earned her $50 starter bonus and she earned her 75 and her 75 because she got her 2 personals unified. Okay, same thing with John. John went out, he sponsored Sarah and Mike. John went out and got 2 under Sarah and they each got their 2. Sarah got unified. He made that $75. John stepped up and helped Mike get his 2, who each got 2. John did his job. He got Mike unified. So Sue and John both made $100 each because they got their personals unified. Now let's look at what we've got going on now. Okay. I brought in Bob, 20% match. Sue and John, 10% check match every single month. Scott, Sarah, Mike, and Linda, 10% check match every single month. The 8 people, we don't know their names, but bless them, they're here in my community. So I'm earning 8 times 10% check match on all 8. But now they've gone down Look, I've got 16 check matches now at 10%. Guys, I'm telling you, the power is in the match. So this is absolutely incredible when you plug in with your teams in a compensation plan like this. We've got a $79 global build. It's $59 a month for the membership, and we have already got so much value. If you guys are watching this Zoom and you haven't gone to the travel engine, go to the travel engine. Everybody lives in a different city. Go search some of your most expensive hotels that are right around your house, in your city, right in your neighborhood. Search and compare. Start comparing. I've been hearing hundreds of stories just about our hotels and our discounts and our savings that are on our platform. We are going to be adding more and more value to that $59 membership around the world. So I'm going to show you one more slide. Okay, so now let's use the example. I just showed you how when you bring in your personal people, you help them get unified, you're earning your $25 starters, you're earning your $75 unified bonuses, and you're also earning your matches because they're your personal people. Now let's just look at the structure, because I had some people say, well, I didn't get much spill, or I got one or two spills. I say congratulations, because that gives you a lot of room in your community that you can start putting in your personal people and start getting them unified. So now let's look at this same scenario, and let's pretend that the two people on your two line that you don't know, and in your back office, they're going to show hidden because they are actually spillover. So they are hidden, but what you got to remember, someone dropped them in your community. So that person is now getting them unified because they went out and helped them get two, and they helped each of them get two. So that person that spilled into your community, they got the 25, they got the 75, and they started the 7 matches. Now, what you got out of this is $2, $4, and $8. So that would be whatever, that would be $16 a month. That's not bad, but that's what happens when spillover falls in. You're going to earn between $1 and $1.47. That's a big difference. If I had gone here and personally put in two people, I went out and helped them get two who each got two. I made $200. I started 14 check matches because I personally did it myself. It wasn't spillover. So, God bless spillover. It's going to happen. But when you get out there and put a little bit of effort into a compensation plan like this, it can absolutely be life-changing. I want you to remember, we have people all over the world coming into this business. For $79, you can be talking to everybody about this. And with a membership program like this, Forbes just said travel right now is 8.3 trillion every single year. In the next 10 years, by 2033, it's going to be almost $16 trillion. That is going to double. So we are in the right place at the right time. And I also want you to know, when you give out your website, they are going to a beautiful website that you can be proud that you're sharing. It's so easy to duplicate this business. I've been in companies where when I give out my link, I'm so scared that they're actually going to see my website. I literally put in there, hey, just click the right button and click join as fast as you can. Don't worry about the website. Just go look at it, because I'm embarrassed of the website. So you guys should be proud. We've got videos. We've got so many things to get you plugged in, but I don't want you to get discouraged if you say, oh, I didn't get spill. I like having control of my own community. I like having my people in that I can help duplicate, because I'll say one thing in this program, the millions of dollars is in the match, because when you're bringing in people and you're doing a little bit and you're duplicating, that is where you're going to make life-changing money. So Nick, I didn't want to go too long, but I want people, don't get discouraged if, oh, thousands of people came in and I got one or two. It's not about that. I'm telling you guys, it's about a $79 global build. It's about a membership. Sam's Club and Costco, that is a membership company. They do not make money off what people are buying in that store. They make money because millions and millions and millions of people are on the membership. So what we're going to do as owners is pack that $59 with so much value that nobody is ever going to drop it. So Nick, I'm going to give it back over to you. I know we got Randy coming up, but I really wanted everybody to know, if you go out and you share this with a couple of people and you help them get unified, it's going to create a And man, it's going to create growth for the whole community, but it's really going to set you and your life up. So we got something life changing here. So I'm honored to be here.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. You can see how passionate, excited he is. There's a reason that we named it the Global Unified Compensation Plan. It's just because getting unified, which is you going and getting to who get to, drives everything. And like we said earlier, Napoleon Hill said it decades ago, right? No good deed does not go unreturned. It will be returned with another good deed. That's how this whole compensation plan is built. And that's there. And he talked about getting two, get two. Imagine if your whole group was doing three, right? Just 50% more. Imagine how fast that gets accelerated. So thank you, Larry. Appreciate you jumping on. Thank you for your tireless work. I now have the pleasure to bring on our next speaker and trainer. I met Randy 20 plus years ago. My uncle has been a very successful person in this space. He took me, I was home from college. I went to Kansas State University, played baseball there for years, but I was home during a Christmas break. He dragged me to a meeting, and it was a packed house, big, huge hotel room, and everyone was just excited to hear this man speak. Definitely was very compelling, but definitely profound. The very end of the meeting, my uncle rushed me up to meet Randy. So I remember that, over 20 plus years ago. He has, same thing, been absolutely incredibly successful, blessed. I mean, not thousands, hundreds of thousands of people's lives around the globe, and not just financially. I've been blessed to be on a number of Zooms with him, these last few weeks, work really closely with him. The lives he's impacted have been absolutely incredible. To hear the stories of those people that he's blessed in life has been huge. So excited to hear what you have to offer today. He's going to talk about not only what the power is in the comp plan, but how you can go create a list and go find those people to put in, and how you can definitely accelerate your own business and change the path of your life. So that being said, take it over, Randy. Appreciate you.
Nick, thank you so very much. And I was listening to Larry speak, and every time I've listened to Larry, I've had this little bit of confusion in my mind, and I just realized what it was. I'm not used to hearing people with a Southern drawl talk fast. This is the fastest speaking Southern drawl I've ever heard, and I really appreciate it. You got a lot said in a short
That's
period.
awesome.
So thank you for that. Last couple of days ago, I was asked if I would participate in this Saturday training. These glasses drive me nuts with that, with the glare. So I have to choose: can I see you or can you see me? So anyway, I was asked if I could participate in this Saturday training, and I thought, what's the most important things? There's so many important things right now. But I remember many years ago, I believe in mentorship. And the gentleman that was teaching me many years ago, his name was Nathan Ricks. And in a conversation, he said to me, Randy, one thing I promise you, you'll never look back at your career and say, wow, I wish I hadn't sponsored so many people. There won't come a time when you look back and say, oh my gosh, it just got boring and frustrating for me because I enrolled too many people. He said, the one thing that you will always know in your career is that no matter how successful it is, had you given one more person the opportunity to reach his or her goals, your own final outcome could have been greater. And so, as I've referenced over the course of my career and in recent trainings here, I've referenced that there are 4 simple skills required to really grow the business. And now we find ourselves at this flashpoint in time, at this second in time. And I'm hoping that all of you keep always in mind in these earliest days this, so many years ago, I went to my grandmother's home, and each time I went in, it seemed like I'd hear this deep booming voice in the background, like sands through the hourglass, there go the days of our lives. And today, truly, and no kidding, like sands through the hourglass, there go the moments, the instances, the seconds of opportunity when you're in the launching of a new business. Well, it's the absolute truth that when one is in launch mode, as this company is and will be for a period of time, the fact that 2 days ago we finally went live, or we not finally, it's been very fast, but we went live and the links came out. Does that mean that we're past the launch? Well, gosh, no. The launch phase of this business goes on for the next 12, 18, or even 24 months as leadership structures are established, identified, established, and coalesced, and then hopefully blend together to become one global one. That takes time. Time takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And it's absolutely true that during this launching phase that there will be those, many in fact, whose income exceeds their skill. That's one of the reasons that I tell people, don't let a moment of this time go by. Why? Because in this moment of time, the message that I like the least in all of network marketing, that message being you can be first. Why do I like it the least? Because it becomes a little bit less true every single day. The message that I like the least is the message that is most effective. There are people who will act upon fear of loss that will not make that same decision on anticipation of gain. And those who are acting on fear of loss will almost always exhibit more energy, more passion, more drive, more fire that will be more attractive to others. And so during the launch phase, there is a tendency among many that I've observed over this period of my career, because it's not the first time I've been through a launching of a business, Um, it is too easy for people to forget that one can have succeed today in advance of skill development because of the power of the moment, but the moment will not always be like this moment. It's my belief and conviction that Nelo Life will be a great opportunity many years from now, or I would not be doing what I'm doing. That's my belief. It's not much my belief that it will be. It's my commitment to make it so, to the extent that I can from my side of the desk. So there is a tendency among many to realize that it will not always be as artificially easy as it is today. And when I said that, somebody might say, oh my gosh, it doesn't feel artificially easy to me. Well, if it doesn't feel artificially easy to you, then what I would suggest is that one's knowledge, which would lead to confidence, which would lead to trust and belief. If it does not feel easy to you, I can tell you that the simple antidote is to do that which is required to cause your knowledge, trust, confidence, and belief to go up. Because the very moment that your belief becomes constructive, when you believe not just hope or want, when you believe that what we do is a benefit to other people, then it becomes spontaneous. It's easy. And when it's easy, then so many make the mistake of failing to look into the future just a little bit of time and say, one day we won't have the power of this "you can be first" message. And at that point in time, each new person who joins the business is going to need to have skill development in advance of income, or at least in advance of meaningful income generation. One will need to gather knowledge in advance of income generation. One will need to develop skill in advance of income generation. And in many cases, one will need to not just gather knowledge and skill, but become willing to confront oneself or be confronted by another, and be willing to identify the fact that you can see things in me that I cannot see in myself. You can see character flaws in me that would cause me to be a pea in the mattress, that somebody says, oh my gosh, this guy just annoys me. Well, if this guy just annoys me, then that will repel other people. You see, for many people, certainly for me, for so many years, I had to gather knowledge. I didn't know and understand the mechanisms, even the language of business and success. I didn't know the language of proper relationships. I had to gather new knowledge. I had to develop new skills. And for me, I had to become willing to refine pretty glaring character issues in order to be able to be in more positive association with more people more of the time. Now, this moment, this magical moment of launch, this is the time when one gets paid to learn, grow, develop, and become. The checks don't show up now. Right now, the checks show up by acting on the "you can be first" message. But the money that we earn over the course of the coming years will be far more determined by that which we learn, what skills do we develop, what character attributes do we espouse and become our own, such that when it's no longer this magic, powerful moment, when one can earn income in advance of skill development, we can still not just survive, but thrive and grow, and cause other people to enter leadership hierarchy that is so profoundly positive that they would never think of leaving it, giving themselves time to accomplish that task. Well, here we are today, however. You see, I believe in the power of today, the power of now. And so a couple of thoughts that I have. First, my observation is that if we look at the entire network marketing industry, and this is a network marketing company, it is a home-based business, it's a network, a direct selling company. And my observation is this, that there probably is no industry that was more desperately and negatively impacted by the COVID experience than was network marketing generally. Now, why is that true? Think of the dialogue we've just gone through. For the vast majority of people, when they walk in the door, they are going to gather new knowledge. They're going to need to develop new skills and refine character attributes in advance of meaningful income development. That means they are going to have to stay engaged for a period of time in advance of meaningful income development. The earnings, what one gets paid when we're not in a launch phase as right now, what one gets paid first is that which one becomes. And as a result of becoming, then one gets paid the money further down the road. Well, in this launch phase, one needs to act upon the magic of the moment itself, but a little bit of very pragmatic thought. Over the course of my experience in the network marketing industry, what I've observed is that in the post-COVID days, what have we not had? What we have not had is the glue that holds people together. Mask mandates came out and people stopped going to events. And so those of you who've been around the industry for a period of time, think back to the experience you had when you went to a major event in your first year, your second year, and your third year. Think of the joy, the personal growth, the development. Think of all that caused you to stay involved when your checks weren't very big. You see, we must create that kind of environment in the future. Today, what we're creating is a leadership structure that will make a comfortable home for those who join us in the future. But in these mask environments that went on with COVID, we had no leadership development. We didn't have new people coming to events because no events were being held. And so now it is our opportunity, and it is, in my estimation, our responsibility to spin the clock back. Sometimes you can't go forward without going back. And so I'm hoping that we can, as a group, as an entity, as an organization, we can capture the magic of the moment, but we can also recognize it was actually C.S. Lewis in his book, Mere Christianity. He espoused a topic that's been taught many times, but he illustrated this. If I'm adding a column of figures, if I add 6 and 6 on my board and it comes up 13, well, that 13 is wrong, isn't it? And nothing will ever be correct. If I continue adding to that column, nothing will ever be correct unless I go back and correct the error. And so what is the error? I wouldn't even call it an error. What is the circumstance? The circumstance is that after 2.5 years, 3 years of mask mandates, it unplugged the event culture of an entire industry. That stopped the camaraderie. That stopped the new friendship development. That stopped the leadership development. And the result, one of the reasons for complete total industry stagnation, is no new leadership development and no coming together, no forming of camaraderie and bonds. So when I'm saying all those things, it is to tell you that I, yes, I, of course, believe in Zoom. We're doing one now. I'm encouraging you all to get face-to-face with people. Utilize technology, leverage technology, but do not let technology stand in the way of the development of personal relationships, because that will be required to grant people that opportunity to learn, grow, develop, and become. And so the first skill to really succeed on a long-term basis is to learn to live our lives in such a way that our candidate list will grow in front of us, such that we are always able to enroll if we choose. Always able to enroll if we choose. And by the way, I'm really careful whenever I talk about my own results, because they do not matter. The results that matter are your results. The results that matter are results that we can have together. I'm a believer in having targets. You all know that. Listen, I know what is my target, what I'm going to accomplish today. I think that if we have targets, we might hit them. If it's vague on the input, it's going to be vague on the outcome, and that's not satisfactory to me. And so I have targets. And my target was to personally enroll 100 people on the first day. That was my target. And, I really tried. I did try. But I think right now today I have 65 or 66 personal enrollments. So it's not quite at 100. But, I had a target that was possible, but a target which could not likely be hit. Possible, but could not likely be hit. What I've determined is that which is likely makes no difference to me. I focus only on that which is possible. And so what is possible? What is possible right now is for us to entirely reboot the entire direct selling industry. How could that happen? We could do it by recognizing that what we've had is, here was the direct selling industry not so very long ago. Then came the mask mandates. And when the mask mandates came, then there were no people getting together, developing, becoming. And so this industry itself has gradually been getting a little bit smaller over the last couple of years. And what's been happening is mostly it has been the people inside the industry who have been calling each other. That's primarily what's been going on. The person in Herbalife calling the guy in Melaleuca and saying, this is the deal you should be doing. And the guy in Melaleuca calling and saying, no, it's this new venture that you should be doing. And the one who's already in isogenics calling the new skin distributor and saying, it's this one. And so it's this crowd of people who together embraced the network marketing industry many years ago, many years ago, who have sometimes been in one another's downlines, uplines, crossline organizations. And basically what I observe is it's the industry calling each other. That is principally what I see. Now, my experience in the direct selling industry these years on is that no company has ever become a great company as a result of simply reshuffling the deck. I am unaware of a single company becoming a great company because it reshuffled the deck. And so what is the magic? The magic is when a company has the power, when there's something special and unique enough about that company to cause people who have always said no to the industry to say yes for the first time. Or not just people who've always said no, but sadly enough, in our environment today, so many people who've never heard of it. I just said that. So many people who've never heard of it. There is such a small, aggressively, correctly recruiting, exposing, engaging group, especially in the United States, not as true in other markets, but especially in the United States, This is a small and shrinking group of people talking to one another. I want you all to know that today we have a message that is so powerful, that is so positive, that we can do something magic. What can we do? We who have had some knowledge and success in the industry, if you're among that peer, you can now look outside and you can attract people you've not been able to attract to the industry for a very, very, very long time. That is my absolute belief. I believe there's an entire generation of 20-year-olds. When a few weeks ago, I knew that it was time to create a new candidate list so that I could launch a new business. What did I want to do? I wanted to attract a handful of key leaders, and I continue to work towards that. Last night, I did a business presentation at 1 a.m. here in Utah. Why? Because I had a handful of key leaders that I invited from Africa to be on. I had a handful of key leaders in India. I had a handful of key leaders that I invited to be on in Europe. I had a handful of key leaders that I invited to be on in the Middle East, in Israel, and Dubai. I had a handful of key leaders. You see, we cannot bring a massive organization together and have them be taught by a small crowd. We have to grow our leadership base in order to help those who join us tomorrow and the day after and the day after to find a place where they can learn, grow, develop, and become. And so we look for key leaders, but then we recognize that key leader's greatest value is not going to be in again, reshuffling the deck. The greatest value is in causing that key leader who has the knowledge and the experience to reach out and do what that key leader did 25 or 30 years ago. My vision today is a very simple and a clear one. I want to help people who, like me, are near the end of your career. The fact is, I'm closer to the end of my career today than I am the beginning of it. I have been involved in the direct selling industry now for 34 years. 34 years from now, I doubt very much that I will still be populating this planet. And so that suggests that there's more room behind me. The runway behind me is longer than the runway in front of me. And so now, if any of you are like me, if you happen to be a person who's had past success in the network marketing industry, there's now, or just success in life, or even if you've not had success in life, this is your chance. But what makes sense and what is logical? What would be the most natural thing for a person like me? So who am I? Well, I am an upper middle class, at least, modestly affluent, successful white guy who's 67 years old. And so isn't it true that my natural course of action would be to contact my peer who is just like me, all of whom are more eager to stop working than to start working? Does it not make a whole lot of sense for me to be looking constantly, to have my eyes, my ears, and my hearts open, looking for that person who is in such desperate need in their life today as I was 33 years ago for the magic of this message? You see, I am eager to help any person. And in fact, some of the most productive people in my business right now in Nelo Life are people who are not just in their 70s. Some of the most effective people in my business right now are on the high side of 70s and early 80s. And so I will recruit anybody and I will help anybody because I know that person has that life experience, has a wealth of knowledge, and they have an ability to accomplish more in a shorter period of time. But they also have a short runway. And so to people of my generation, what is the obvious thing? Let's identify people of goodwill and intent, people who were we 15 and 20 years ago. The entire direct selling industry is aging its way out of business in the United States of America, in Japan, and many other countries. Because why? Because the same crowd of people have been talking to each other for the last 25 and 30 years. They're moving their way through life. They're getting near the end of the runway. And behind, there's this enormous gap and a vacuum of leadership. What I'm describing to you now, all of you people who are in your relative youth, I just said something that I hope lit you up. I just said there is an enormous vacuum of leadership behind this bubble of people who've been moving their way forward in life for the last 30 years since the birthing of companies like Nu Skin, since the birthing of companies like Herbalife and Melaleuca and NSA, now Juice Plus, and that whole generation of people. A tremendous, tremendous vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. It will literally draw people into it who are prepared for this moment in time. And so I was asked if I would spend a few minutes describing what do I think is most important right now. Well, what I wanted to do was give as many people an opportunity as I possibly could to seize this moment to overcome whatever their moment of travail is. Now, that's really important. If I'm looking at this moment in time, trying to contemplate and consider what can I get out of this right now, then my life experience proves that it will not be very much. If, on the other hand, I say, who is there in the world that I can help get past their moment of travail as a result of this opportunity? And what is the moment of travail? Well, if a person who's been around network marketing for a period of time and they have made this move, that move, the next one, and the other one, and that maybe they feel like their band's been stretched too tight and there's no place to go, And I remember a number of years ago when one of the things that I needed more than I needed anything else was rehab. I had to find a way to stay clean and sober. I had to find a way to be alcohol and drug free. And I went to free rehabs. And finally, the bell rang for me. Thank God for that. It may be that your career needs a rehab. That's the truth. There are plenty of people who made one turn too many. There are too many times that somebody's received a phone call saying this is the one. Their career needs a rehab. It takes a message of profound magnitude. You know, the person whose career needs a rehab will not find positive result by contacting people inside this web. The person whose career needs a rehab can leverage all of that knowledge, those years of experience, to be able to positively attract the person who had always said no. That is the solution for the person whose career needs rehab. Now, when it was time to launch this business, because I had my stated objective to have 100 personal enrollments on the first day, which objective was not met. Wasn't met. I did my best. I promise you this. I did my best. The objective wasn't met. In fact, it was only met about 2/3. That's okay, because I've got a new target. I've got a new objective, and I've contemplated and considered what can I do to be a little bit more effective, a little bit more efficient. But what did I do? What I did was I first took out the simple map of the United States. And when I took out the map of the United States, I took a look at the state of Washington, and I said, who do I know in the state of Washington that needs to hear from me? And I wrote the name down. And if nobody came up with the state of Washington, I took my phone out and I put in area code 206. Whoa, there's some people. And then I took a look to find out what are the other area codes, the state of Washington. And then I did the same thing in Oregon, and I did the same thing in California. And I did the same thing state by state by state by state in 50 states of the United States of America. And if I came to a state where I didn't know anybody, I didn't think I did, I typed in the area code. And if I didn't know the area code, I typed in another one. And you know what? At the end of one day, I had at least one potential candidate that I could give an opportunity to help. See, I had at least one candidate that I could give an opportunity to help him or her overcome their challenge. And so I then, after looking at all 50 states, then I went back one more time and I said, okay, California is a big state. But when I said California, that wasn't the same, was it, as saying San Francisco, Oakland, Stockton, Merced, Los Angeles, San Diego. Oh, San Diego's a big place. Chula Vista, Del Mar, Solana Beach, state by state by state by state. And then, having gone state by state by state by state, I did not stop until I had at least one male and one female candidate, at least one Caucasian and one non-Caucasian candidate in that state. And then when I had identified that, then I moved on. And what did I do next? Well, then I took out my good old timeline and I said, okay, so I thought about who do I know in these states? Well, let's refresh this a little bit. I want my business to look like the world. And when I say that, I don't mean that I want my business to look like all of the anger and the hate and the dissatisfaction. That's not what I'm talking about. I want my business to look like the world, however, demographically. And so what does that mean? It means that if the United States of America, 13% of the population is African American, I want 13% of my organization to be African American. I don't want it to be limited to that, but I want it to be at least that. If in the state of California, 40% are Latino, then I want 40% of the people in my business in California to be Latino. I don't want it to be limited to that, but I don't want it to be less than that. Because if it's less than that, then that would imply that somehow I was not appealing to a certain segment of the population. I want my business to have the same percentage of Asian Americans as America has. And I don't want to break that down state by state by state. And so now, having looked, who do I know in what city? Who do I know in what state? Now, who do I know in each city and state who is African American, who is Latino, who is Asian, who is? And then finally, who do I know who is at least 20 years younger than me? Who do I know who has had past success in network marketing? Who do I know who's tried and failed in network marketing? Who do I know who is most like me? Who do I know who is least like me? And then I took that same pattern and I applied it over a global map as opposed to a simple domestic map. And the result was that I have a candidate list placed in front of me that there's absolutely no way that I cannot get to the candidate list that I have, which is current and fresh and it's now. I cannot get to it in less than 30 days. And over the course of that 30-day period of time, what I intend to do is grant an enormous number of people a chance to see a possibility. And remember this, I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. Peril to the one who tries to convince another to do a darn thing. And peril to the one who believes that another will join us because of what we are excited about. I shouldn't say the single, there's been so many things in my life that I've learned, life and business. But I found out relatively early on that there are two kinds of people in network marketing. And one is the person who is afraid to talk. That's problematic. And the other is a person who talks too much. And that's equally or perhaps even more problematic. And what I discovered was that in order for me to really succeed, I would have to find a way to finally take the focus off of me and put the focus out there someplace else. And what I discovered was that if I had the discipline, and discipline, by the way, is a strange word. It can have negative connotations and positive connotations. But if I have the discipline whenever I'm in a conversation to make sure that I'm listening 65% of the time, that was very, very, very hard for me. Very, very hard. Right now, I'm in present mode, teach mode. And so, of course, I have no choice but to be talking 100% of the time allotted to me here. But if I'm in conversation mode, I must be listening at least 65% of the time. Because if I'm listening 65% of the time, then I can find out what's important to my candidate and I can provide a solution to the candidate's want, need, or desire. The battle is lost by so many people who come rushing towards their candidate, telling them how excited I am. I am so excited about this. Well, so what? That doesn't mean anything to the candidate. You see, it's when I listen to the candidate and find out what the candidate is excited about, what the candidate is concerned about, what the candidate is hopeful for, what the candidate is hopeful to avoid. You see, if I listen to what the candidate has to say, then that gives me an opportunity to provide a solution to their problem as opposed to trying to convince them of something that I want to do. And I've learned over the course of my life and career that if we limit our successes to people who are of the persuader type, there are some of you on here who can persuade others to do lots, and they've persuaded others before. This is not about persuading. That's simply not what it's about. This is about identifying a business mechanism that is so overwhelmingly positive that people who are not persuaders become so incredibly joy-filled as a result of their participation in it, that effervescent is their description of a possibility to join a lifestyle community which has dramatic income possibilities, but which grants each person the opportunity to learn, grow, develop, and become that which they must to get the key and the lock of success, not just in business, but in life. Remember what this is all about. For me, at least, this is not about just making money. Whenever I hear somebody say it's not about making money, well, all the people that I know who are in business, there's a financial outcome to it. I promise you, this is in part about making money for me, 100%. But that is because making money for me is one of the contributors to the target. What is the target? It is to be more happy more of the time. And for me to be more happy more of the time, what I know is required is a degree of spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, financial, and relationship wellness. That combination of things makes it possible for me to aspire towards becoming more happy more of the time. And that has been the outcome of my life now for some long number of years. I want it to be the outcome for you as well. I've probably taken way more time than I was asked to. Nick and or Larry or whomever, I'll turn it back to you.
Awesome information. Such great tips, right? On developing your list, thinking some really creative ways to add to it, but also how to share with it. I learned a long time ago, it's not necessarily the how-tos, right? It's how you do the hows. And so his philosophies there on, basically not only creating your list, but the philosophies that go into sharing with people can definitely transform your life, right? The timing where we're at, the compensation, the plan that we have, the products that we have here, it's all definitely in your hands. But like he said, doesn't matter if it's in your hands, you got to go share it with the people. How do you share it with people? Build your list first and foremost, number two, and then get it out there. It's not where you're at right now. It's where you're going to be, a month from now, 60 days from now, 90 days from now, 120 days from now. And I would 1,000 times rather work with a person that has the right attitude and puts the right effort forth in, does not have the skill yet, but has the drive and the desire to go learn the skill to be able to achieve those things. Then the person has all the skills, but sits there and analyzes everything and doesn't actually go out and put it into play. And so I appreciate you, Randy, jumping on. Larry, it's always great to hear your passion and joy for the compensation plans. So everybody on here, it's we are less than 48 hours from this thing going live. We're absolutely incredibly excited to partner with you guys. We definitely know there's been a lot of different emotions that have happened the last handful of days, right? Excitement, joy. There's been a lot of other noise that's been out there. The one thing that we can assure you is we will work around the clock. Your whole corporate team, your leadership group. There are so many people here that have I mean, they've had absolutely so much success in their careers. They've forgotten more than I've ever learned on what it takes to be successful, how to be successful, and have those relationships that are definitely there. And I assure you, they will continue to pour into you. So if you're that person that says, "Hey, this is it. I want this. I need this. I want to be here for myself, my family," I assure you, you'll be delivered with the tools, the compensation plan, the products that can take you to that next level. But in the end, it is your choice. It's your choice to take that step. It's your choice to apply yourself. It's your choice to learn from those things that are here delivered from you. and then take it to the next level. So appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for jumping on this Saturday. And we will see you all shortly on our upcoming calls. We will get all that information out into the groups, into the channels. We have so many incredible, great things coming for you. You have definitely not seen anything yet. So appreciate y'all. You guys have a great,
Thank you,
great
guys. Thank you, Colette. Bye, guys.